Hi, this is Laura. I think I heard my name. I heard some speaking and I couldn't hear what was being said, so I apologize. But I can hear whoever's speaking now. I can hear you. I'm so sorry. I can hear most of what you're saying. I think you said that we've got an adjustment to the agenda. We're going to start with the vacant building ordinances. And are you asking if I can give some background? Okay, perfect. I'm so sorry. I
Laura,
know.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Can you
hear
hear
you
me?
very well. Yes.
So, Ms. Oxum, maybe something with my mic. Am I clear for you now?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Very
great.
clear.
So, for the vacant building ordinance, we do have a new draft of the ordinance, that we're all looking at now.
Okay.
Are you walking us through this with the changes, or how's that?
Well, I didn't prep the changes. I'm happy to be here to walk through it with everyone. Um, if I believe some of the changes were sparked by some of the discussion at the previous planning board meeting, which is great because that's exactly what a planning board's supposed to do, is to work out all of the issues. I couldn't line for line tell you exactly what was edited. I think the town's attorneys did that, which is also an excellent thing for me to say, because if it's gone through legal, that's one hurdle we don't have to worry about it as much. I do believe on, let's see here, I'm looking at a packet, and this would be page 9 of 14. Um, some edits, and I'm not sure, maybe someone can clarify if these were the edits that were enacted or remain to be discussed. It seems like they remain to be discussed from what the packet that I have. When I reviewed this packet, it didn't seem that these changes starting on page 9 had yet been implemented. Is that accurate? Okay. I had a really hard time hearing whoever was talking, and I'm so sorry. I hate to say that because I know it's going to be so annoying and frustrating. Would someone who's closer to the mic mind repeating that?
So, we have a separate draft that
Okay.
is not included in the 14-page packet that you're
Okay.
referencing now. And the separate draft that we have, my understanding, reflects the attorney's review of the concerns that we shared with the council from August.
Okay. That's excellent. Has everyone had a chance to look at the new version with the new edits? Uh, and I would suggest a good starting point would be, if everyone is pleased with the edits and feels that they have addressed the concerns, that'd be a great place to start. And if anyone has any remaining concerns, um, I would say let's tackle those and make sure that all the discussion is on the floor and reflected in a memo to council.
So, and it looks like some of the suggestions were addressed and then some were not, but Mr. LaPlante, whether I know a lot of the items that we shared were from concerns that you had. So, Ms. Oxley, we're all sifting through the document and the changes. If you'll just bear with us for a minute.
Oh, of course, of course. I'll just be on standby if I can help. Happy to.
Looks like they still left in the notice of a lien if the fees and whatnot are paid. Which they would have to have that anyway, right? I mean, they'd have to have insurance on the property anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Trying to motivate people to either put something in the space or sell it, or instead of just leaving it empty. part of the insurance requirement? Is it related to if, possible damage to other buildings as well? Just to make sure that.
Yes, sir. I mean, we've had situations we've had, especially maintain
What comments, questions, concerns do any of the planning board members have, with the revised ordinance? And I appreciate the town council, taking the suggestion seriously and running it past the town attorney, just to double check on some things that we had concerns and questions about as well. So I do appreciate them, doing that. We ready to maybe take a motion to vote to, make a recommendation that the, I understand it's, if the building's vacant, vacant by definition means it's empty. And the ordinance says that it can't appear to be empty.
Yes.
So, again, do we, so we either have a motion to, approve the, I'm sorry, we're not, we have a motion to either make a recommendation that the town council, move forward with the zoning ordinance, or that they don't. And so, that's kind of where we're at this evening. Then if we, from some other conversations, if we say that we're not moving forward, or we're not recommending they move forward with the ordinance, then if we can, I think it would be within our rights or within our prerogative to share reasons why. And then at that point, the town would have to decide, town council would decide if they wanted to move, look into those recommendations further, or if they wanted to move forward with the proposed ordinance as presented to us this evening. So is there a motion one way or the other? All right, so there's a motion to return the document a second time to town council with Mr. Nixon's concerns regarding the language surrounding vacant versus abandoned. Is that kind of okay? And it, so further discussion.
That very, that is right here in your packet, that very concern about say that has not changed, something didn't change, something's asking is about the entire ordinance, certainly, they haven't changed. I understand why. I just don't know that this is the, still issues such as, so me sending it back a second time. Right? We said it once, sending it a second time, expecting results.
So we have any other discussion? sending it back is different than us determining that we don't recommend the document be approved. So there's three possible outcomes from this document. Either we say yes, we recommend they approve it. We say no, they don't approve it, or we send it back and don't take action on approval or non-approval. I tend to agree with Mr. LaPlante. I think we've sent it to them. They've looked at what they're going to look at. I wholeheartedly think we still need to share concerns with the document, but I don't know if sending it back to the town council and said, well, no, we're still not happy with it. I don't think, but I think what they sent us is what they're going to say that, well, this is what it is at this point. So that's my 2 cents. But again, let's go back to Ms. Salt's motion that we send it back to council, do not approve or recommend or not recommend it. So that was one of the 3. You can withdraw it on, you can withdraw your motion and then make another one. Right. So we're still not going to recommend or not recommend. The motion is that we send the document back to whoever created it with Mr. Nixon's suggestion regarding the vacant versus abandoned language. Okay. Is there a second? Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, so all those in favor of sending the document back to the original creator for further revision, please say aye. Oh, let's do hands. Say aye, or raise your hand. That's 3, 4. Okay. So all those opposed, raise your hand. Okay. So we will, Dalton, if you'll let the town, I'm gonna ask whoever looked at it to look at it again with Mr. Nixon's concerns regarding. Okay. Sure. Mr. Nixon, I'll send you a note this week if you and I can work together to make sure we're capturing the concern appropriately. Okay. All right. So there we go. Thank you, everyone, for your discussion and suggestions. The next order of business is Miss Oxley. You still there?
I am.
Okay, great. So we are moving on to our new business, which is the gaming ordinance, which is
Okay.
pages 7 and 8
Okay.
in our packets.
Okay. It's page 7 and 8 in my packet as well. So perfect. So my understanding, if you go to page 8, at the top it says section 17-533. This is in Selma's ordinance already. So this would be how the UDO is addressing electronic gaming operations. And if you flip back to page number 7, I am suspecting this is a proposed ordinance, or perhaps a sample ordinance from another jurisdiction. I was curious if Dalton knew for sure, if he could confirm or correct me on that. and I'm so sorry. I think the only person I can hear is the chairman.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Laura, that page 7 is the ordinance that our attorney drafted after looking
Perfect.
at several around the state and what's going on today in North Carolina with gaming. So you're correct. It's just this one is the drafted ordinance from the attorney.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that confirmation. That's what it appeared to be, but if we can operate not off of assumptions, but off of actual fact, that's always a better place to start. So I don't know. I don't want to take over your meeting or insert myself as a member of the planning board. I'm just here to support you. I would suggest looking at pages 8 and 7, perhaps starting with number 7 and seeing if there's things that you do like, because I don't have the background on how this came up, or necessarily what is trying to be changed and addressed, but I would imagine that there's things on page 7 that the town finds appealing. So I would suggest looking at page 7 and seeing what you like or don't like. I don't know, I could jump in with some of the things that caught my attention, but again, I'm not a member of the planning board, so I don't know if I'm jumping the gun and inserting myself too much in your
ahead.
meeting.
Go ahead. What do you got? We are just waiting to hear your thoughts.
So one of the things that caught my attention pretty readily, and I say this understanding I'm operating under the umbrella of the attorneys, which always makes me feel so much more comfortable. So I'm always have this in the back of my mind. But of course, the attorneys have already looked at it, so presumably all of this is pretty standard. On section B, the non-standard rates, each electronic gaming operations on each place of business, $2,500. Seems kind of steep, but I don't know. That very well might be the going rate. One thing that I was kind of curious about, is that an annual renewal fee? Is that a one-time fee? I do know that in the next section, $200 per machine. I had noted that that was an annual privilege license, so that is clearly annual. Whereas B, I'm not sure. I think maybe just a little tweak to say either it's an initial fee or it's a renewal fee, just something to kind of indicate when that fee is paid. In some of the details of locations, kind of tweak what the town already has. So, how does the planning board feel about the distances from areas that we traditionally consider community centers, whether that's playgrounds and churches? Hours of operation. I think the current hours of operation are, for what the town currently has in place, are 1 p.m. until 10 p.m., which seems kind of restrictive and a little bit tighter. And the new ordinance, or suggested ordinance, is a little bit broader. I believe it's 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. So definitely opening up these locations for a little bit longer. So that's just something for the planning board to kind of discuss the pros and cons. You're kind of, I heard one planning board member describe it once as you're the boots on the ground. So you are the team that kind of has a pulse on what's going on in the community from a planning standpoint, and what seems to work, what seems to not be working. Let's see, there was one other thing that I was going to mention. Speaking of planning, from a planning standpoint, currently in the ordinance, the ordinances, I'm sure you're familiar with this, have a very, very helpful table of uses that list very extensively. Very rarely do I come across a proposed plan and use that I can't find something that matches in that table of uses. It's great. I think that whoever did that did an excellent job. When you find the electronic gaming section, it doesn't list any zoning that it's a permissible use. It just says see planning staff. So I think what was going on there is there's not necessarily a zoning assigned to gaming. There's more of the approach of restrictions based off distances. So I think how it's set up right now, if someone was to present an application to have a gaming room, I think that I would, one, have to make sure it's not in a residential district, just start very broadly, make sure it's in a commercial district, and then from there start getting an idea, measuring where that business would be in relation to perhaps not that it would be in a residential area, but how close would it be to the closest home or community center, things like that. I think at some point it would be helpful to start narrowing down what zoning you would see gaming in, and then decide, do you want to do that at the staff level by permits, or is it make more sense to do a special use permit where we have a little bit more control over the process? And I'm sure you're familiar with special use permits. One reason that can be kind of handy is you can really dig into a plan and have a lot of eyes on it, have the planning board's eyes on it, have council's eyes on it before it's approved, whereas something that's straightforward that can be approved by staff level, you delegate that to us. And I had pulled some of the table of uses just as a starting point. How since we don't have gaming in a box right now, I had pulled some uses for like billiards and pool halls in your ordinances, bowling alleys, skating rinks, and boxing and tennis. That's one. I don't think it's necessarily akin to boxing and tennis. It was just all kind of lumped together. It was more the bowling alley and skating rink that I was looking at. Bars and clubs. So I went ahead and pulled some of those permissible zonings. If you wanted to go down that road tonight and talk about that, if you think this will carry over to another meeting, I can certainly email that to everyone so you have more time to think about it. But from a planning standpoint, I think looking at the new ordinance and what do you like about it, what seems to fit the community's needs, address some of the community's concerns, and then at some point start talking about what zoning district do we see gaming rooms going into. Of course, this would be going forward. Anything that's already established would probably be grandfathered in. So I think it would help to decide what underlying commercial zoning we wanted in, but that's kind of a big discussion, and you might need some follow-up information, and if that's the case, I certainly can email and provide and give everybody a little bit of time to think it over. But those were some of my initial impressions. I'm not a member of the planning board, just kind of here to help. So, very curious about your impressions and what follow-up questions you have.
Comments, concerns, questions?
This is something actually that I tried to get us to look at 3 years ago. I first started SAC and read through 365 pages. The gaming operations one is something that I thought, there's a few things that we ought to tweak. And this actually addresses a couple. I thought that half a mile was over the top as it was. So I would rather have, you know, let's say just for right down here where we have the aforementioned open space, empty building, someone, let's say it's Tony's and so. But that's real big, so we wanted to open up a cyber cafe, right there, nice open space, okay, fine. And someone wanted to open one right next door. I've got no problem having them sit there side by side, rather than having to say, you have to be 1 mile from the other. Especially because 1 mile is just very, and then some directions are gonna put you right in the middle of somebody's home. So, you can't go that direction. Now you just severely limited the potential business owner, operator, and source of town revenue, you know. So that's one thing I don't like about living proposal.
I know that this is before the legislature, and currently it's not legal for the gaming in North Carolina, but I do know that the legislature is working on this, so if they come up with the amounts, and they come up with the, that's what it's gonna have to be.
It must be legal to some extent.
It's extremely, I think it's,
I'm sorry.
the law is extremely, correct. It's not that, they're out here, we have inside, we have a gaming business, we have games in several locations. There were several big ones in the county. Big names. Some of them been there for years. So it is very, it is not, it's not completely illegal either. So, but we know that the legislature is working on it. It was very close to it in this past budget. I think that was something to do with it now. It's coming, you know, I think the council really want to get ahead of this and have ordinances up to date. It's several years old. This same argument came up about 7, 8, 9 years ago. Different variations in the code. So the council just really want to get ahead of this.
The last one says 2017.
Yeah, so big discussion back. That last one is kind of, that last time adoption.
That could be 30 days to come into compliance.
It's in the location areas, the pre-existing establishments, which concept of location requirements described in this chapter, so it wouldn't affect these. We've got a few small businesses, got a few machines. I think that the big tour was actually, when we did look at a few ordinances, I think he pulled over for ordinance. Therefore, inside stand up 14 mile, and they seem like a normal 2.5 mile. Some of those ordinances. And, I don't know if that's a, I don't think that's something that, you know, is reestablished, just something that's worked out of ordinances.
Do we have a rationale?
I do not, I really don't, I question the same thing, I don't understand, you know, one way or another, but it's definitely something that I probably don't understand because it's in almost every ordinance, I would say every ordinance. I do not know the rationale.
Any other comments, discussion?
It is, I will say it's coming, and I'd rather be on the front side of it than, later, but I mean, I do think this is a first draft, and y'all's recognition, recommendation is really important, so. If there's some change, I think that's a good time to ask that question.
To Ms. Oxley's point, I don't have a problem at all with the idea of saying it should be permitted in, let's say, general business.
So, again, we have three options. We have three options. We can vote to return the document for further clarification. We can have a vote to recommend the new ordinance be approved by town council, or we can vote not to recommend that it be approved by council. Those are our three choices this evening. Anyone care to make a motion? So, with that, if we send it back, the thought would be reasons why. These are the things that we'd like to see addressed. I think the general consensus is we all would want item B to be clarified. That's an annual recurring, one time recurring fee. I think that's the consensus there. But there's a concern regarding the distance requirement between businesses that would be included in the option, we call that option 3. Turn it in.
Aside from that, I think the hours changed. Part A is definitely, we have to do this.
Be within.
The scribes.
Would you like to try to frame that into a motion, Mr.
Well, ultimately, we go to the council, but they will decide, but I'm gonna tell you, they won't send it back to me. The answer any two questions to make sure. So, I think y'all will send it back to the council.
With
With the questions.
suggestion, same,
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think you're looking at almost the same motion.
different content, yeah.
If that's where you want to go.
Right. So, motion to recommend the board approve, that the council approve it, a motion to recommend, a motion that we do not approve it, or do not recommend the council approve it, or a motion that we return it to address specific questions. At least two that we've discussed is the distance between businesses and clarifying annual, I'm sorry, one-time or annual fee. At least those two, there may be some. Ms. Oxley, so Ms. Oxley asked us to do this last time, so is there just a general consensus that we are, generally speaking, we like the new ordinance regarding gaming operations?
So I've got two, so if that's the way you go, clarify.
Yeah. So is there a motion to return the document for additional clarification, at least those two items we discussed?
That's it. Absolutely. Changes. So, except for the option. Two, and two, we're saying no.
I personally would prefer us to return it for tweaks than to say no to the document. And I know that's semantics, but that's just a personal thing with me. We can do what you guys want to do. I don't want it to come across as though we're not being supportive noticed that we have motions about some. So I think that's moving in the right direction. So I would like to see us either do yay, nay. Let's look at it again to address these concerns again. That's just me. We will entertain any motion anyone would like to make, so if the motion is no, or not approved, we can entertain that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
do you need me to weigh in any on, the logistics of moving forward? I can hear a little bit, but I wasn't sure if, I heard my name at one point. If you want me to weigh in on some of your options, I'm happy to, but if you guys are just discussing what you want to do and you need me to be quiet, happy
No,
to do that
I
too.
think
That's
we're
easy.
ready.
I can be quiet all day.
I think I kind of have a feel of what we're gonna do. I just, if someone will make the motion, we can sort it from there.
Yeah, and if you're the advisory board, so if you like this ordinance and you like the movement it's going in, and you think it's a good idea, save one or two provisions. That can be part of your motion. You can say we recommend this to council. However, we do have these concerns that as your advisory board, we're advising you that someone should consider. If you have grave reservations, of course, you would likely make a motion to that council not move forward. But at the advisory board level, you could definitely, council, they have to have it all tightened up and it has to be as is ready to go before they approve. I love planning boards. The beauty of planning board, you can say, this is great. This is much better than what we got, but hey, we're going to recommend it. We're going to say yes. But here's a couple of things that we advise you really consider before you say yes or no. So you guys got a lot of flexibility. You can still recommend, but highlight a couple of areas that you're concerned about.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Question for you, Mr. Manager. You have noted the two main concerns that we have.
The two main I wrote down is the, mile provision and the 25-foot total needs to be specified. And that would be charged. That take over.
Those would be my two main concerns.
Any others that
I'm with Mr. I like, it's very clear about what it includes, the hours of operation, giving our business owners more opportunity to operate the businesses. Others, I like the idea that pre-existing establishments that have some of these gaming machines, they have some flexibility. They're not gonna have to lose business.
The other question, it's not in the new section, it's not in the new text. So are we looking at the section replacing 17-5 with this section here? Because section C on 17-5 electronic gaming operations are prohibited in or as part of any check cashing facility. Now, I understand why that was included in this provision. I thought it was ridiculous, because I'm also thinking, that would be the perfect place if I was trying to run a business as to where I'd want to put a gaming machine. Sort of like if I was a Girl Scout, I'd want to sell cookies outside of a pot dispenser kind of place, So, it's one of those things where if we're replacing here, in Toto, then I'm fine with that, because I never liked part C. I never liked that to begin with. That's something I griped about 3 years ago when I first brought it up to our then planning director, who's not here anymore, for various reasons. So if we're just talking a total replacement, then I'm good with it. So we're not looking at just, we're gonna replace a few provisions,
So I'm asking one more time, so we need to either make a motion or we need to have a motion to table this item. So we can move forward with the meeting. So again, is there a motion, you'd like to make a motion to address our new electronic gaming operations ordinance at this time?
This change with the commentary requesting changes or additions that we have just specified with our chief slash town manager is something to table.
So that was a motion to approve the ordinance with recommendations from the planning board that the item B regarding the non-standard rates is defined more clearly. And the,
To reevaluate
the distance, I'm sorry, trying to reevaluate the 1 mile requirement between establishments.
Mr. Chairman, you'll tell me if I'm right. But if you're gonna approve changes, you probably need to specify exact changes versus just take a look at it.
Okay, so I can't, it's your motion, Mr. McMahon. I would, for item B, the electronic gaming operations on each place of business, $2,500. We would need to clarify if that is an initial one-time fee or a annual recurring fee. Is that,
if that's the way the rest would go. From the previous motion.
okay?
Now, then I move that we would recommend to council passage or approval of this ordinance with, in section B, having the fine as being a one-time or annual. Personally, I would recommend a one-time.
That's
And then, in the second part, no such establishment within 1 mile. My motion on that would be to revert to what we already have existing as having a line.
That would be,
That is much more reasonable.
and that would be, item E2. No such establishment shall be located within 1/2 mile of no such establishment.
I mean, like, half a mile, but that's where we're at now. I can't see making it worse.
So that is the motion that is on the floor. Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Is there, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion as presented, please say aye. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you, Mr. McMahon, appreciate that. And then one of you two take that back to them. Okay, I didn't know if I needed to send them something. Okay, y'all, okay. Okay, good deal. All right, thank you guys for working through that. That was our new business. Is that new item under new business? At this time, is there, so for November, does our meeting fall during the Thanksgiving week or is it the week after? Yes, sir. Just want to double check, some people take that week.
27th,
It's the week after. Okay.
such new company.
Thank you. Christmas is usually, December is usually, we have a conflict. Meetings.
Thanksgiving week. It's open for Christmas.
Oh,
Well,
unless y'all can bring it up.
in the past, yeah, December has always been way because of the holidays for staff.
There's some new expectations for that. Just real quick, everybody okay if we cancel the December meeting altogether, or do you feel like we need to reschedule? Because there's a new process that